Every plan starts in an unusual place, on the beach, by car, in a bed. The plan I'm going to tell you started 10 years ago in a container park in Liège area. Consumption brings us to throw away waste that is still full of potential. I'm going to tell you a story that is the starting point of this plan. In 2006, I met the internal communication manager and talked to her about the high potential of some waste. A couple of months later, she organized the first harvest of bikes in Wallonia, more than 3,000 gathered bicycles in only one day. In the meantime, I met the organizer of Le Beau Vélo de Ravel, a popular television program from the RTBF, which encourages people to travel by bike. I talked to him about the fact that bicycles possibly be got back, that they could be boosted with the help of my students, and some communities could take advantage of the whole plan. In 2007, we set up our first plan in Africa. Our idea was to use bike as a raw material, design and build a means of transport adapted to the conditions of use in Africa. Accompanied by 3 students, we arrived in a village 100 kilometers away from Kinshasa with 300 bicycles and more than 20 carts. Our goal was to use containers intended for transport and provide the village with a workshop capable of getting bike maintained and repaired. This workshop plan never happened. In 2008, we come back to the Congo with the RTBF for a second bicycle transportation plan. This time in the Bakongo area, we brought another container full of bike, redrawn carts, and many spare parts. Both experiences enabled me to better understand our difficulty to set up a plan which was basically conceived with our Western mentality and put it into another continent in a totally different context. In 2011, the RTBF suggested that I took part in a new operation entitled Biking for Africa. We joined in this plan, and we arrived in Bujumbura with 50 bikes and 25 carts. The originality of this plan was that carts were assembled and finished on the spot. Moreover, the stay consisted in collaborating with 4 locals who were coached by the students. During 1 week, we worked together and learned how to assemble and disassemble the main mechanical pieces of the bikes. The day before we left, 2 facts shaped the rest of our African adventure. We had the opportunity to visit Sinkizito Institute, a center that accommodates about more than 200 disabled people from 6 to 16. It also has a handbike building workshop. During the finishing reception, the Minister of Education and Youth thanked us for the bicycle and carts we brought, but he told us that handbikes would be a more useful equipment for the population that is still affected by the last interethnic confrontations. In the plane back to Belgium, we were already preparing our future plan. The first step of design was part of the training scheme in industrial design in our school. Each group of students was asked to show me a handbike prototype designed from getting back pieces of bikes. After reaching 20, then 25, we eventually prepared 50 handbikes for this new adventure. For our previous experiences, the plan consisted in making 25 models in Liège that were ready to be assembled in Sinkizito Institute, and in preparing and manufacturing pieces for making 25 other copies. We finished our work the 15th September, and 2 tons of equipment are left at Brussels airport. This is an NGO handicap international that accommodated us. The following day, we discovered with the students Sinquisito Institute and the 4 mechanics that were our partner to assemble the handbikes. The environment in which we worked was regulated by the residence break, and they all looked curious, amazed to see blue and white device coming out of the chest. We had then to explain our approach and convince those mechanics of the new adjustments. We worked non-stop for 7 days, and in the morning of the 8th, we went to Bujumbura Stadium to show the handbikes to the beneficiaries. For all of us, this was the most moving moment of the stay. To students with to locals, to mechanics locals, in the end of the war. Still, they had a lot of adjustment to be made to customize each handbike to its user and its disability. It seems that we reached our goal. The 25 handbikes were operational and the first copy started taking shape in the mechanic workshop of Sinquisito Institute. Do not give them fish, but learn them how to fish. This sentence enabled me to more appreciate the relationships we can have through those experiences. I think that this was an important moment for the students in their industrial design training. It's important to train future designers or will be aware that their creation involves irreversible consequences. Thank you.